My name is Don Kinnaman. Most of you I know through all the years and paddling and weekends and weekdays. And I want to introduce you to a couple of our deputies, David Hill, Jordan Rank. And so they're going to give most of the presentation tonight, but just sort of sitting in and listening to Gary and being around most of you and knowing everybody's skills and really these type of training sessions are just sort of trying to take away a tool, a tool for your survival in your toolbox. Because even with, our professionalism as you guys as paddlers, we all get ourselves in certain predicaments at times. And we can't tell Mother Ocean what we want her to do. And sometimes she sets a stage, and she sets a big stage. And that's, where you can get in trouble. So, just listen to what everybody has, grab that little tool, stick it in your toolbox. One of the biggest things was sort of the life jackets. You always hear, wear your life jacket, wear your life jacket. There's 100% truth to that. Now, I understand you guys are paddlers, we have stand-up outriggers. Sometimes they're cumbersome and they're tough to wear. But, if there's one that works and you can wear it, wear it. If conditions tell you you should wear it on certain days you're going out, wear it. Do they save lives? You betcha. You betcha. I've been in this industry a long time, and I've seen a lot of bodies, the gruesome part. And if they had a life jacket, they'd still be here. But by not wearing it, they're not here with us today. So just remember that. I'm going to turn over to these guys. If it's a weekend, you guys see them around, say hello. It's great seeing you guys. You guys got a great club. In fact, I was at Pittsburgh, Steelers, you can see. And I met this guy from Scott Sandals, that I'm actually wearing. And he's a big paddler. I think I told you. I think your sister club. He's on Oahu. But he knows about our club here in Santa Cruz and really, said a lot of good words about the club here and how competitive Santa Cruz is. And so that was really neat. But he does all the safety for his group. He's been doing it for like 45 years. So unique man, but he did say a lot about the club here. So it's great seeing you guys here. It's great having you guys here. Just the weekends and your faces. So keep it up. I'll turn over to these guys.
All right. Hi guys. So Gary touched upon one of the biggest things, life jackets, and Don just went on to that effect as well. 9 out of 10 fatal boating accidents, someone wasn't wearing a life jacket, so that's just really important. When you get a life jacket, make sure it's Coast Guard approved. And you have what, 16 outrigger at times. Make sure there's one for every person and that it's the right size. So this is Kobe, not Don's. He's one of our coworkers. We have to give him a hard time. But let's see. Even having a throwable on board is a good thing too. Say if everyone's on the boat and someone gets straight off, instead of someone jumping out and they can't swim or making them swim to you, you could throw something to them. They grab or have some type of line with you. I think nylon. It's the yellow line that will actually float on the surface. You can always get that. But important thing about life jackets is one for every person on board, and make sure it fits. Practice donning them. Even have a training day where you guys go out and hey, don your life jackets, put them on, and because if you don't want to wear them while you're paddling, it's a good thing to practice how to do. And make sure it's serviceable. And serviceable means that it's in good shape. Make sure there's no tears on it. Make sure the buckles work if you're wearing this type, and the zippers work. And all this stuff is going to be hard. It's easy to do when you're out of the water, but when you're floating in the water, this stuff's going to be floating at the surface, and you're going to be like trying to force it down and around you. So just practice with them.
I think as David said, that's one of the big things is just, practice putting that life jacket on, because there's certain conditions, you may get into a critical condition out there, and when you got to try to grab that thing, and if it's your lifeline, you want to know how to put that thing on properly, make sure it fits. And so that's probably not a bad thing for the club to do, just, spend an hour,
And if you go to page, I gave you guys, we provided these ABC books. Page 34 has all the types of life jackets you can use for different circumstances. If your vessel allows for it, I mean, a Type 1, if you're in really, really bad conditions, having one of these on board, it'll keep your head above the water, and it'll properly keep your head above the water, even if you go unconscious or something like that. The other types won't do that. It's kind of like a luck. You could be 50-50, but if you're by yourself or something like that, I mean, I know they're really big and they're really bulky, but it's a good life jacket to have. It's one of the best needed.
So is the Type 1 the one that goes around the neck and in
Yes,
front?
it's on page 34. It's right here.
Okay.
It's intended for offshore, but it's designed to turn an unconscious person face up.
Face up. Okay, that's the one.
But it's very bulky, so
Okay.
you know it's.
We don't have
That's what we have in.
No, we don't.
You guys probably have
Yeah,
Type 5.
So Matt Love is our assistant equipment person.
Type 2. Okay.
Able to answer.
It says may turn an unconscious person face up. Not
May turn. Okay.
Yeah, so that's good. But you know, ABC book has all these life jackets in there. You gotta have one. Gotta have Coast Guard approved. Page 41 talks about navigation lights. So it's required by Coast Guard that between sunset and sunrise that you have navigation lights. And the minimum required for kayaks or manual powered boats under 16 feet is a white light, you know, a lantern, a bright lantern that can signal someone, hey, I'm here, don't hit me. If there's 6 of you out there at night for whatever reason and whoever's in charge, you guys don't have a light and someone hits you and people die on your vessel, you're going to be held responsible for not showing a proper light signal. You need to have something that can say, hey, I'm here.
You got to remember the different user groups that come to this harbor and other places in California, wherever, that are on boats, you know. Just don't know their skills as a captain. And if they're underway and they're going at a high speed at night, and anybody, you know, a kayak, even another boat, an outrigger, if you don't have lights, you know, you can't see them. It's tough. You know, most people aren't really highly trained on radar at night, and so they're just going, you know, off of eyesight. And if you're in the dark, you know, you're at a big risk out there. So lights are important.
And within the harbor?
As Leslie said, within the harbor too. We have a lot of user groups from recreational boats, commercial boats, charter boats, fishing boats, and they take off early in the morning, you know, at dark. And so if you're doing a morning paddle, you know, and you're out there in the dark and they're coming out of slip, and typically, and these guys will tell you, you know, when we jump on our patrol boats and we get a call, I mean, I can't tell you how many times you get woken up at 3 in the morning by these guys. And, I jump on the boat, you know, and the windows, you know, just conversation, they're fogged up. And that's like every other boat here. You know, so when they leave to go fishing, it's dark, they're cold, the windows are wet. You know, they're not looking for somebody, you know, in the water without running lights. So in the harbor, out of the harbor, have lights.
And just consider how low you are in the water too, versus like they have their dashboard like this. It's kind of like they can't see directly below in front of them. So I mean, you got to take that in consideration. Let's see. Where should we go?
Think about too, for even reduced visibility. You guys go out in the daytime. I mean, it's just, and who does the safety equipment for the boats? You know, something just to consider is just to make sure those lights are on the boat at all times, some type of a light, a flashlight, whatever, because, you know, and I'm sure you guys have all come across this where you go out, you know, hey, it's nice and sunny, and you start paddling, you go around Black's Point, you're heading down to Pleasure Point, and all of a sudden, boom, fog comes in, you know, and you're in this reduced visibility. So not only does the light provide safety, but it's actually a law, you know. You're required to have a light with reduced visibility. So fog, clouds, rain.
Very good. We can talk a little bit about navigation and fog. I don't know if you guys have a plan for that, but I've done it before with just a little boat, and you can get a GPS app on your phone, and that will work. If you can't see anything else, I mean, with 6 of you on an outrigger, I mean, at least one of you should have a phone, and it works really well actually. And they actually make apps specific to GPS over chart, so you have to see the depth of where you're at, and it's good for fishing. It's just a good thing to have some type of device. If you can't see anything else and it's noon, sun's up in the sky, straight above your head, and you're in the fog and you don't know where you're going. I mean,
fog is scary. Does anybody know Josh La Jolla here?
Yeah, yes.
So Josh, the people who do know him and the people who don't know him, Josh LaHoya is a local guy from Santa Cruz, a big wave rider. Sort of the first originators that did the Mavericks contest. And he told me on the second contest they had for Mavericks, he went out in the morning at like 7:30 to look at the break. Clear morning, heads out there sort of by himself, wanted to sort of size up the swell, got out there, fog came in. Pea soup fog within seconds. He said he's never been so scared in his life, and this man has ridden waves around the world that are huge, and he just said, Don, to be stuck in the fog, not knowing where he was, and hearing that surf break, you know, was the scariest time of his life. So he learned a lesson the hard way, you know. As David said, have some type of equipment to be able to tell you how to get out of there.
It works, GPS will work out there.
What would be some manual things, like what would you be listening for perhaps,
So,
or?
if it's quiet enough, I mean, if you're close enough to shore, you'll hear which direction the shore's breaking. You know, it's not, you know, the crashing is going to be in the direction where land is, not going to be behind you. If you're out here, I mean, the mile buoy, if you can hear that, you can go towards that, and if it clears up, or if you have a compass with you, you know that you head due north from the mile buoy, you know, right back to the harbor.
When in doubt, deep water. When in doubt, head to deep water. Deep water is your safe zone. And then
And I don't know if
work it out from there, you know, how you're going to get back in, and, you know, self-rescue or someone's going to come and get you, but if you go to deep water, that's the best sort of remedy.
And if you check the conditions for the day, and it's supposed to be wind coming from a certain direction the whole day, you know that it's offshore, and you can kind of orientate yourself. Say if it's supposed to be a strong windy day, we're getting 10 to 15 knots this week on various days. So, but yeah, you want to talk about sounding devices?
Yeah. First, I guess I'll ask if you have sound devices. Yeah, whistles or.
Whistle.
So that's something you have to have on your vessel. Sounds like you guys have whistles. That's good.
They talk about different sound devices on the ABC book on page 24, 25. All of them are permitted.
Visual distress signals, such as flares. You guys have flares on here?
Flares, yes.
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 In regard to the hand flares,
What's that?
in regard to the hand flares, you pull them. I used to use those when I was prone paddling, would cross the bay. And I still have some. They're way too old, but how often should you replace them if you haven't ignited them?
Typically, you have a,
Manufacturer will probably put something on there, I'll tell you.
yeah, it's usually 3 years. There's an expiration date on them. You know, do they work after that date? You know, well,
And then what do you
probably,
do with the ones that haven't been spent?
but Coast Guard Auxiliary used to take expired flares. I can't tell you 100% if they still do.
Taking the hazardous waste.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They'll take
That's
them.
how it's meant.
Oh,
Yeah.
this way.
Do the county disposal that has not,
flare gun's a good thing, you know, good thing to have. You know, so I know, you know, not so much with your 6-person outrigger, but your OC1s, OC2s. You know, if you do get in trouble where you're unable to paddle the boat back, Gary Griggs did a bottom current and a surface current study here in Monterey Bay. And with his case study, he ended up showing that the surface currents and these bottom currents, where you might have a strong northwest wind coming and you're thinking, okay, it's just going to blow everything towards Capitola, towards the beach. Well, he actually showed seasonally these currents will pull different and actually pull towards like the mile buoy, depending on the type of the year, the direction. And so we've had actual cases where, people have gone over in their boats, capsized their boats, and they went completely off the mark we thought they were going to go for when we tried to do these rescues. Like they ended up going the opposite. So we had search patterns starting here, working all the way down the wind, and they actually went the other way. So it's just something to keep in mind. And you shoot off a flare, people are going to see that.
So this says you're supposed to have it between sunset and sunrise, I recommend carrying all the time. First aid equipment, you guys have first aid stuff?
Yes.
What do you guys have in those kits?
First aid kit, there's a mask for CPR. I don't know exactly what's in the kit, Matt, you know?
It's just the basics.
It's a basic, one of those off-the-shelf kits, you know, that fold open like this, and it's got all the, you know, basics.
Compresses and-
Yeah.
So Gary sort of hit a little bit on that, you know, about, you know, calling EMS, and here's my recommendation. Paddling, outside of paddling, whatever in your day-to-day life. When in doubt, call 911. When in doubt, call 911. We live in times now where that's your job, that's what they do, the paramedics and the fire department, you know. They come down, we pay for it in our taxes, you know, they'll take a look at you, they'll give you your recommendation, you know, if you're clean sheet and ready to go, or if they think you need a ride to the hospital. But the worst thing, and Jordan can tell you as a paramedic, the worst thing that EMS can't stand is, you know, you have somebody that needs medical attention and you're sort of on the fence juggling it, well, they look like they're going to be okay. And then all of a sudden, 10 minutes later, they're not, and now you got to call EMS. That EMS unit could have been diverted somewhere else, and so now that estimated time for them to get here has probably tripled. So when in doubt, 911, it's just basic stuff. We do it here at the harbor all the time. You know that from when you worked. We just, you know, get them here and let them do their job.
So just for clarity on that, when we're out in the ocean, we don't want to be getting on the phone calling 911. We want to be getting on the radio on Channel 9 or Channel 16.
Call 911 on the phone.
Oh, yes?
And thank you for bringing that up, because it's a good point. So even we have a lot of seasonal staff that you guys have probably seen over the last couple of years here. The ops people that wear the red shirts and do the parking. So it used to be a habit of them, they'd stumble across an emergency and all of a sudden they'd be trying to call us on Channel 9. And so we've trained them over the years that, hey, you know, just go straight to 911. 911 will get a hold of these guys on the radio and get them to respond. But so even in the water, just 911, and they know exactly what to do. They know the agencies. There's a coastal response plan that's out that involves all these different agencies, and they'll get the right people to you for the circumstance.
Okay, thank you.
And
Thank you.
it's probably for the average person easier to talk to a 911 dispatcher than say if you call Coast Guard on 16. They're gonna ask, you know, half the time it'd be talking to a kid who's working at Coast Guard trying to get information from you and get your coordinates and all that. And you guys might not even know half the things that they're asking you. Whereas 911, they'll let lifeguards know, they'll let us know, and it's almost an easier person to talk to on the phone than doing radio traffic.
Okay.
How far do cell phones work out into the bay?
That's a good question.
They work pretty far.
Yeah, because they're going off satellite. The thing that doesn't work so well, and I think we have a couple ladies that's law enforcement here, and they know this, but if this was a marine radio, and I'm on Channel 9, and I'm going to call David on his radio. If I'm leaving the harbor and Dave's down in Capitola, we have, you know, SoCal Point and all that, these radios go site to site. So your marine radios, they're going from antenna to antenna, versus police radio, or if you're on Channel 16 with Coast Guard, they go to an antenna way up in the hills for a repeater and do a satellite and then back down, so they're instantaneous.
I mean, from Crow's Nest to the North Harbor, we might lose contact on 9 just being here. Like half the time we're like, no joke, like our boss will be calling us and thinking our radio's broke. It's like, no, it just doesn't work that far.
Cell phones are always a good safe bet. You know, like I said, when in doubt, 911, and if you don't have the cell phone, then just go straight to Channel 16 and just call Mayday, you know, Mayday, 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 you know. And they'll figure out where you are, and then they'll start to get things rolling.
Yeah, if given enough time, Coast Guard can like, kind of ping you. They have systems in place to ping you based on your radio frequency, which we can't do ourselves. So if it's out there and you don't know exactly where you are, I mean, Coast Guard's going to be better capable of helping you out than us in some cases.
We asked you this question the other day in the shop about using a lower wattage channel, is that the right verbiage? To
Yeah.
communicate amongst ourselves, and I think we mentioned 83 and 74 or something?
With channels? Yeah, and that's just 83, 74, you know, you can even use, you know, our channel too if you need to.
So
But
that enables what?
it just enables you guys to have a channel to talk to. But if there's an emergency, you're gonna go to channel 16 on your VHF radios. And then what'll happen is Coast Guard will usually direct you to a channel. They're gonna say, you know, we want you to go to channel 22 alpha, and all of your Marine radios will have those capacities.
Yeah, Jordan actually he carries his Marine radio just as a backup. It's a good one, it works pretty well. It works better than our top around radios for getting Marine transmissions, but yeah, you can check it out. But one thing to applaud you on is we always get radio checks from that radio.
Yeah, that's great.
Like, don't be discouraged from that. Just let us make sure stuff's working. We can hear you and you can hear us before we go out. So that's a good safety thing. I know we're jumping around, but we're talking about emergencies and medical emergencies. So do you guys know where to bring someone to say if you have an injured person, what the best spot is for paddling back?
No.
Okay, so launch ramp. So if you come to the launch ramp, that's going to be the best spot because our emergency response vehicles like the ambulance, fire, they're going to be able to get in and out of that spot and back to the hospital faster than any other location in the harbor. It's easy to get into, get it out of, and then you guys have a launch ramp there. The water's going to be calm. It might be congested. You got to take into consideration all the boats and users that might be in the area. But and especially low tide, it can get kind of like almost algae-like at the bottom, and it's very slippery. So you've got to keep all those things in mind. The launch ramp is the go-to spot. The fire department knows to go there. So,
You're talking about radio checks. You know, sometimes you go out early in the morning. What time do you guys usually start? You're not on 24, right?
There's usually, there's always a deputy here from 6 in the morning till midnight. So 6 a.m. till midnight.
What if we have an emergency and we're not even close to the harbor? What could we expect then? I mean,
Call 911.
and they'll tell us.
And 911, what they'll do is they'll put together a plan with the fire department and the incident coastal response plan. And typically, if you're, you know, a mile so far out, they'll make a decision if they're going to bring a medical assistance out to you. So there's times where we'll take a paramedic from the fire department and they jump on our boat and off we go.
and yeah, if you could paddle there, we could probably get there with the boat because I mean our range on our boat's pretty good. We've taken all of the monitoring back, as far as us being able to get to you, yeah, we can get to you. And we use a boat just because it's a stable platform. I mean, we have lifeguards use jet skis, but say someone broke their arm or I mean, I don't know how that would happen doing that rigging, but unless a whale jumped on top of you or something like that. But you get a smoother ride with us than like a jet ski. So. So I'm not sure where do you want to go next here. So we're going to talk about safety equipment, harbor entrance and channel conditions. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Okay. And first of all, I'm not a paramedic, but thank you, sorry. I'm an EMT. So I worked here about a year, and since day one, my sergeant and everyone else here has been warning me about the entrance to the harbor. Our department goes around our boat and we have a depth sounder, and we can record depths all around and we can upload it online, and they print us out this little chart. This is available online if anybody goes to the harbor's website. You can just click on the most current sounding.
And what's that website? How do you?
So if you just go to Santa Cruz Harbor's main website,
Okay.
there's a link to click on the most recent sounding.
Yeah, safetyharbor.org.
Okay, cool.
I have it on my phone as just a link.
And it's just a sounding, it's a sounding?
So it'll tell you, and it's corrected to if it was zero tide. So all these depths are about, you know, what it measures, and it corrects itself to zero tide. So at zero tide, it would be 10 feet. So just add or subtract whatever the tide says for that day, or the time during the day, and add that or subtract it from these numbers, and I'll get you an idea.
But those are neat for you guys to look at, you know. I mean, you know, daily, I don't know about that, but, you know, maybe once a week, you know, on a Saturday, we have those up in the office. You know, you can grab one, post it down at the shed. Gives you sort of just a chance to sort of monitor, see what's going on with the harbor entrance as far as, you know, shoaling conditions. as, you know, Jordan was saying, it's, you know, the harbor entrance, you know, our harbor entrance, and there's a couple other harbors up along down the state of California, they get pretty dangerous when we shoal up. And that's typically where you see boats overturned, people get in trouble, and we've had some really nasty incidents over the years. And that's really where you got to take a lot of caution, a lot of time, and make good decision making. You know, if you're going to go or you're not going to go. There's times where the conditions get so shallow, and depending on the type of swell, certain rescues we won't even respond to. We'll just, you know, we have to tell Coast Guard we have to stand down just because we can't get a boat out, and especially if we have a falling tide. So falling tide, it just gets worse if you got a storm coming out of the south and the water starts getting confused. I mean, you know, we're all water goers, and I know you guys have gone out long distance, you know, paddles, and all of a sudden the ocean starts to change. You know, Mother Nature starts to, you know, get her temper up. And now you get this southerly starting to mix in, you get this big swell, and that's when things can get really dangerous, especially if the harbor's shallow. So, you know, if you take a look at that and you're like, wow, you know, hey, last week we had 15 feet of depth in the middle of the channel at the entrance, and now we've got 6 or 5. Something to be thinking about, you know, especially looking at the tides while you're out paddling and coming back.
I think last winter it got to like 3s and 4s some places, which is like literally that. And some of the boats in the harbor have keels that are 12 feet or something like that.
Yeah, we had a lot of boats go aground. We had, I don't know, we had, I want to say the OC2, a couple turnover. We had a couple OCs.
OC6 has it.
Yeah. we've had a, you know, our share. You know, even our patrol boats had its incidents out there. So, you know, just be aware of it. You know, play it safe, slow as pro. Just use caution. You know, that's really what it comes down to. Just a lot of caution, asking. You know, if you're not sure, I mean, you guys are really good about it, but just, you know, ask for one of these deputies, call the harbor office, and, you know, we'll sort of give you the best report we can.
And we always keep a copy, just like you have passed around. It's posted in the office, so if you just want to pop in, rather than fiddling on the phone looking for it.
Another question. So, so you'll normally at the launch ramp, if it's shoaled, you'll put a sign out, correct?
We typically move that danger sign sort of comes out,
Yeah.
but don't always count on that because, you know, right now, if you look at the current conditions, there's like 12, 14 feet. Well, one big storm, like we had last year, I mean, 1 week of just strong southerlies and mixing up all that sand, I mean, it can shoal it really in 2 or 3 days. It can change it that quick. So, and it may not be enough time where we can put that sign out, so just,
Right. So if you go out and it's shoal or condition that we're, you know, not really aware of, then a rescue can be difficult. You guys might not be able to launch. And then,
so
my next question is, where is the Coast Guard at any given point?
So, yeah, so even for us, let's just say you do go out, you know, you take off and, you know, it's, you know, it looks like the swell's up and sort of a high tide, and all of a sudden you get out there and all of a sudden the tide starts dropping, conditions start changing rapidly, the entrance just starts, you know, shoaling up, and there's breaking surf going across, and you deem it unsafe to get in. I mean, you just start looking at it and you're like, you know what, there's just too much risk to get back in here. You know, at that point, again, you know, you call 911 and the Incident Coastal Response Plan, they'll put together a plan to rescue you. You know, it may be us trying to get a boat out, and if we can't get a boat out, then it's usually going to be the surf skis, the PW's personal watercrafts that the lifeguards have. They'll come out, or they will send down a helo, a Coast Guard helicopter, to airlift people out. So there's options, and we leave those options even open for our deputies. We tell our deputies on our patrol boats, hey, if you get out there and you rescue somebody, you start coming back in, and it just looks too bad to get that boat back in where there's too much risk, you know, you got to look at an alternative plan. Go to Moss Landing, go to Monterey. Obviously, you're not going to paddle down there, but we'll call Coast Guard.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, is there ever a time where like the conditions to get in the entrance are crazy, but you can just like paddle to a nearby beach, and that would be like
I mean,
the alternate plan?
Sure, you could do that. I mean, I've seen it where, you know, the conditions are just crazy down this way, but if you can, you know, somehow get to around the municipal pier, you know, over off of Cowles Beach or, you know, right there in front of the,
Dream Inn.
not the Dream, where are they gonna have the
Front of the boardwalk?
you know, where they're gonna have the dance, you guys are going to the ball? Oh, Coconut Grove, sorry. In front of that Coconut Grove.
I spelled it wrong.
It's fairly safe in there, you know, it's typically smaller, you know, but again, you know, when you guys are on that outrigger and trying to come in with any surf, you know, I mean, the last thing you wanna do is flip that thing over and, you know, be careful. You know, if for some reason you do flip it over and you're out in the ocean and a rogue wave hits you, you know, the number one thing is just stay together. You know, stick together, don't try to separate, because once you guys start to separate, with the winds and the swell, you're gonna just move apart within seconds. You're just gonna start to scatter, and then it's really hard to try to find people out in the water that way. So, you know, the best thing is just, you know, stay as a group, stay together, stay calm. You know, help will come and get you. You just gotta, you know, fight it out until they get there.
Last thing on the entrance, just beware of all the vessel traffic coming in and out. I mean, what you guys might be capable of doing in your boat, maybe someone's not going to be experienced enough in their sailboat or even a power boat. And if a big wave comes, they just don't have the trait or experience or knowledge about waiting for sets and waiting for sets on. Alarms can come in after this wave and they get caught by a wave. That thing could come barreling towards you guys. So it's always, I mean, this is a good picture of the water here. You know, don't get to here and decide whether or not you're going to go or not. You kind of want to hang back out here, see, kind of get an idea of who's coming in, who's going out, and what's the rush. You know, wait till all the big boats have come in before you take off. You know, and always try to head to the side as much as possible, because you have less experienced mariners that might kind of come into the harbor and enter this way, and they're not going to see you around this corner right here. Here in the middle, a little bit more visible. But
So is it like a road though, where going out, you stay on the right-hand side on the
it is.
Or are you
it
saying
is.
to stay in the middle?
It is. There is. It is.
He said the key word, less experienced mariners come in tight, not paying attention. You've seen it.
So you still have the right of way passage, but being to the left or right doesn't mean being to the left or being to the right. It doesn't mean go this far. It means, you know, you're still gonna be in the middle, and that's how you guys pass. You know, you're gonna pass this way, pass that way, but don't try leaving way far out to your right. And people, I mean, less experienced mariners, like I said, I've seen it tons of times. But I'm gonna come back to the harbor this way, and so it's.
And it's a blind spot.
And it's a blind spot, so it's best to be in the middle as possible, but still follow that rule of traffic. So that's kind of what I want to touch on the entrance.
You mentioned a right of way. Who has it? Where is that? What were you referring to?
There's a whole Coast Guard, you know,
Hierarchy.
exactly. So basically, the less ability to maneuver has the right of way. So if it's a big fishing vessel coming in, and they can't just stop on the dime just because you're in their way. You gotta give way to them, because they can't just stop it immediately. Whereas, and how long does it take to stop that rigger? Got it down right and down right. So it's best to stand out of the way of the bigger boats. And there's a whole list. Like there's seaplane falls on there somewhere. So, you know. But basically, the rules: the less maneuverable the vessel, the less power.
We are out on Wednesday night boat races, the women usually are. So that's always trying to figure out, you know, they're jamming and it's like, okay.
You should always try to stay to the right, and you know, sailboats, you know, they tack, you know, back and forth across the whole channel, which you're allowed to unless there's an oncoming boat. So it is, but
so we should drop behind, or plan on dropping behind them?
Well, yeah, just, you know, try to stay to the right of the channel as much as you can, but as David said, when you're exiting, especially in the wintertime, you know, you want to be sort of center.
I mean on the open water.
On the open water?
I feel like we're a target sometimes, you know. But
well,
they're drop behind them, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're moving everywhere. I mean, even on my patrol that I'll go through them, I'm like, you know, they're going to drive left, drive right, you know, just Yeah, just give them one to lead with.
I'm just trying to,
And they should give you
we
a
have
good
new up and coming steering people here, so I'm just trying to, what they might encounter.
Yeah.
In the Navy, we call it the law of gross tonnage.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're big,
Well, you stay on the way of
right
a
away.
boat that's bigger than.
And that's sort of the rule of thumb I use. I just sort of stay away out of from the crew. It's the easiest method. But inside the channel, you know, stay to the right. You know, if you're going up, heading this way, coming back to the right. As David said, you know, if it's the winter months, sort of set back a little bit in the channel and just sort of monitor it. You know, look at the sets. You know, look if there's any boats coming. You know, most mariners usually come in out of the east. They're coming in sort of from up here, they're coming down this way into the harbor channel. But yeah,
It's probably in the book, and I could probably look it up, but, okay, say it's, say the Wednesday night sailboat races or someone, they're doing something out there, they're on a course. You're going this way, and you spot them off, but you're kind of on the same trajectory. Is there some hand signal or something, what's the easy way to let them know that they're gonna go ahead, you know, to give way? Because I've been in that situation, and it's like, no one knows what's going on. You know, he'll slow down or something like that, but you're still kind of inexorably kind of headed in the same direction. No one knows what someone's going to do.
There's usually a right and a wrong to it, but I always typically, you know, just alter my course.
Right.
I don't sort of go off, well, I have the right of way and they don't, because I just don't know if the skipper knows that.
Right.
So anytime I'm in a crossing situation, you know, I either just back off, you know, let them go, or I alter my course to it.
I've had a sailboat come up from behind me. I'm going this way. We do this race out Angel Island, and I was going across from Angel Island, you know, back over to Fort Baker, and this guy came up behind me, and all of a sudden he's screaming at me. He's like coming right at me. He's telling me that he's got the right of way.
No, yeah, it's.
And I'm just like, you know, because I'm going here, and he's coming up from behind me, and I had to pull off because he was. You know, he was in a race, we were in a race.
He'd have to prove that he wasn't able to move around you, but if in a pass, if someone's...
He just didn't want to scrub up speed.
If you're in front and both go the same way, then
Yeah.
you stay the course, and if someone wants to pass you, they're the ones that has to do the adjustment, not you. Just like driving on the road, you don't force people to move out of the way. If you want to get around someone, you should move or not force
If
them.
it looks like there's a potential for, you know, the Navy's saying a collision at sea could ruin your entire day, your career.
Yeah, no doubt.
But you maneuver early and clearly to say, okay.
Yeah, if you have to
make it obvious
make an
that
exaggerated change.
trying to avoid.
I thought there was also a hierarchy of like if you're under power, you know, and then
But
the wind person, that's what he's probably saying, to get the right away, because the wind is
It's
what
pushing
he's
him.
using, pushing him. And you're paddling, so you've got more power than him, you know, and so that's
Out there, not in that water. You
yeah,
know.
well, that's where they figure it, you know, like, and they, I know that's where that comes from, you know.
But yeah, when you're in tandem, it's the person wanting to pass that has responsibility to do maneuvers. You're not obligated to move out of someone's way, unless, again, maybe in a situation where it's a huge vessel under power and they can't stop. That's where they will. Who's going to win that battle? You know. Yeah. And then just passing, you know, your left is your port, and that's traditionally it's going to be a red light, and that red light can stop. So if your left is facing to someone, they see the red light, that means they're supposed to stop. If
The starboard side.
yeah, starboard side, green light means they have the right of way, and you have to stop, so it's passing situation. So red light, green light, think about that. I think we've already moved pretty much into the, discussion questions. I mean.
Can we talk about the beach launching?
Beach launching, yeah, we forgot about that part.
Along the coastal things we should be aware of, rocks.
So,
yeah, there's some extra questions.
When you guys head out, and you're going down along the cliffs, Pleasure Point, you're going up north, or wherever you are, when tides drop and swells increase, reefs start to expose themselves and they start to get surf that breaks. And, again, like we said, if you're in those conditions, just, head to deeper water to navigate, to wherever you're going. And that's typically what we do. If we're running south on rescues, or if we're running north at night, we usually stay like 3/4 of a mile offshore with our radar. And there's times though, if we go out and I know that the swell's gonna be up and the tides might be going to a medium or zero, then we usually increase our distance offshore. So we go further into deeper water because we know there's, swell, certain reefs where, surf may break on, and we just don't want to chance that. And then we try to, make a direct course in. So like for you guys, let's say the swell is really, really big and, you're trying to get back in here, the best place to shoot for really is a mile buoy. Get to the mile buoy, it's just straight north and straight in the Harbor Channel. As far as beach launching, you guys are experienced. I mean, you know more about it than I would. I mean, I would just say, just from stand-up paddling, I mean, just you got to use caution, and if it starts to get chest high or shoulder high, maybe it's just, hey, use the launch ramp. There's a lifeguard down there too. The biggest thing is in the summertime with beach launching, for some reason, if you do decide to beach launch and you flip your outrigger, now that becomes this huge object where all these swimmers are. And little kids on the beach, we've all seen it, they see something flipped over and coming in the surf, they run to it, like they're gonna try to grab it. And that's typically where you see injuries. So if it's flat, and you're super comfortable, well, that's up to you guys and the lifeguard who's working down there. Recommendations always use the launch ramp. You guys have been down that launch ramp. Be safe, get slippery. You can hurt yourself on that thing too. As far as running up and down the coast, deeper water. Always deeper water. Deeper water is your safe haven.
What if you have a boat that half of the people are new to us? We host newcomers every other Sunday.
Can you be more specific with that question? Like, what are you referring to in regards to that question?
Just you're saying go deep, if we're making runs. Well, I'm thinking, if we're all, if it's the racing group.
So typically, if you're going down to like Capitola, like I try to stay, if you can figure out the distance, like I stay way outside of the kelp line off of Pleasure Point. I try to tell people that's the safest area to be. If you're going north, just try to visualize, 3/4 of a mile, a half mile, staying offshore. It's just always good practice. If it's flat and it's just your group, and I've seen you guys hug the coast, at times. I see you guys come down by Sunny Cove, and it's flat, you can do that. But I think we all know when the swell's up, and when the swell's up, you got to use a different course. It's just the way it is.
And look at the geography. The geography on land kind of extends underwater. So see like a point or a cliff and it's descending. Well, that keeps going underwater, and you know that waves happen when deep water turns into shallow water. So you see a point, just go out further. Yeah.
So I have a question. Is there a website and a map of currents in this area that you would recommend?
Noah might have something.
I got an app for you.
You do?
Yeah.
Great.
Very cool.
I always check the weather before every day now.
We write it down at the office.
Yeah, there's some handouts. I don't know if you grabbed this, but these are some of the main websites I use. So for just maritime weather, I use the government website. So this is the most recent weather right here. Right here is another government website, tides and currents. So that's really useful. Down here is Surfline, mainly for surfers, but it gives you an idea of the breaking waves, how big they're going to be.
They have an app.
And then the O'Neill's Sea Odyssey that has a building up top above Java Junction over there. They have their own weather station. And online you can look at that for pretty real time. I think I printed this 5 minutes after this was updated. And this will show you the wind speed, the max gust, and wind direction, temperature, humidity, and over the last day. So you can look at that too. And there's a lot of apps on your phone you can get.
Surfline has an app too. Yeah, you push a little button, just puts you in the location, will give you the nearest high tide, time, and it'll tell you the wave height, or the surf height. So right now, it says 5 to 6 feet.
You know, when you're looking at tides, and sometimes the tide is real steep, you know, like it's behind the low tide is real steep, and then sometimes it's the wavy. What is the water, what do I see in the water different? What does that mean?
So if it's going from like a +6 foot tide to a -1, it's dropping 7 feet in the same amount of time, so it's gonna be a lot faster.
So what's faster, what does that mean?
So it's gonna go from a really high tide to a really, really low tide, even below 0, very quickly. So you're gonna get some surge there too.
In that 6 hours.
So the water's.
Yeah, what does the water do?
Well, the water's typically pooling out, so like if, we threw a buoy in the harbor, it would just start pulling out towards the mile buoy on a low tide.
Right.
When the high tide comes back in, you sort of have this flush of water, right? So when you get this flush of water coming back in, it's typically where, the surf starts to pick up again, you start to see the reefs start to break. It'd be like looking out at the lighthouse, Steamer Lane. Low tide, you're seeing a little surf, and all of a sudden, as the tide starts to change, you come into full, you get this push of water, it starts coming over the reefs, and the waves start breaking, so.
But the steepness, what does that mean?
In the wave itself, like the actual trough of the wave, you'll see more troughs of the wave. Like if you're coming in during just a low tide, usually the water's fairly flat. As you start to come in with a medium tide, high tide, you start to see a little bit more trough in the waves.
One app I have on my phone is for tides. I'm not sure. Let's see if I see this.
You need an iPad for that.
If those are the kind of waves that you're talking about
Yeah.
when you're looking at a tide?
Right. Oops.
Right. So the red line is where we are right now, so we're almost at the top. And this will show you the number of feet that the tide is. So it looks like we're almost to a 6 foot tide earlier today. And then you can scroll through each day. But yeah, some days it's going to be steeper than others. I'm just going to be going from a higher to a lower, lower to a higher.
Faster.
It could be faster, or it could just be a bigger height or a lower height tide.
Okay.
How many members are in the club now?
About 100.
Great.
This is just a steering oriented group.
Yeah. So I would just remember this, out of the conversations, just always be safe, play it safe, make good judgments, always bank on the safe side. It's just, it's always the best, when in doubt, call. If you need help, when in doubt, just call. I mean, that's, sort of what, we're paid to do, so.
Just take some of these tools. I mean, if you just check on half of these things before you go out, you're already at an advantage, and you'll know whether or not you should go out in the first place. So, there's no day we just jump in and go and try and look at anything. So.
Anyways, it was nice talking with everybody and seeing you guys, and feel free, if you see us around the harbor, just, say hello, and if you got questions, ask. We're happy to answer it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.